G'day and welcome back for another Kelpie Flat Track podcast. Today we'll be speaking to South Island flat track racer and there in New Zealand, Wayne Drake. Tells us all about how it got going down there in South Island. Similar to, talking with Scott about the North Island scene, but really encouraging, and I love hearing the stories about how it's all getting up and running there. And those guys, they're super loving what they're doing, and sort of like me, excited to see where it's going to go. And we just had the AFTN, so the Australian Flat Track Nationals kick off over here, and so that's been run and won by Mick Curtness. Well done, mate. So that's awesome. Zane Kinner represented Kelpie on the YZ450. Really proud of Zane. Ran out top 10 on Saturday, and I think he was 13th on Sunday overall. So great effort, mate. On 19s for his first time. So had a short practice here on the bike, so it's never raced it. So basically jumped on cold, very little setup change. Yeah, so we're really proud of Zane. You did us proud, mate. Thanks so much, and look forward to working with you in 2023. Can't wait. Dave Maddock done an awesome job getting AFT off the ground, and all the media and stuff that you've seen, post media, especially on social media platforms. It's been fantastic to look at and watch, and up and onwards. So that's fantastic. But back to Wayne Drake. Talks about the Christchurch scene there. So I'll stop talking rubbish and let's get into it.
The Kelpie Flat Track Pod, brought to you by Kelpie, affordable race products designed to help you stay on track. Now onto the episode.
No, that's you.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
I just moved. I just changed my screen thing, and I was like, "Did I press something?"
Oh, good. I feel like I'm not alone on the tech side then.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, usually there's a record button showing up down the bottom, but for some reason I had to go into the more options. Maybe it's because I'm not in full screen. Hold on.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Not funny.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to get your head around all this stuff, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's Wayne Drake, is that right?
Yeah.
But you go by Drakey.
Oh, most people call me Drakey. That was just what people call me. Most people know me as. So yeah.
Yeah, and so you're in the South Island of New Zealand. About an hour from Ashburton, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably a little bit less. Half an hour from Ashburton. Hour and a half from Christchurch.
Yeah. What's the name of the place you live at?
Rangatada. I own Drift Inn pub, bar and restaurant. We just opened last year. That's my new thing. That's why I'm at home now.
Yeah. Okay. So, what were you doing before that?
Here I was a motorcycle mechanic. I've just dropped down to 2 days a week in the motorbike shop in Timaru. They're called Motorcycles. So I'm still there, but part time now, and the rest of the time I'm running the business with my wife, sons, and daughters.
Oh, yeah. And how are you finding that? Pretty challenging, or?
Yeah, it's only the last months really. I've gone down to 2 days a week, so it's just fitting in with everybody else. They've been up and running. Like my wife's the boss, the manager. My son runs the kitchen; he's the chef, and my daughter's waitress stuff. Just fitting in with them lot and integrating into it.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah.
Have you got quite a decent population in your area there, so that you're getting plenty of business?
Oh, we're quite rural, but we got loads of support from Timaru. It's like 40 minutes one way. Ashburton's 40 minutes the other way.
Yeah.
And Geraldine's close. But we got car clubs, bike clubs, Levels International Raceway is just down the road. So we pick up all the bikes because of my racing. The people I know, they all come through after race meetings. We got all the farmers, dairy farmers around the area. There's heaps of local support plus the passing trade from the main highway.
Yeah, fantastic.
So that's good. So far, it's working well. We opened just before COVID in November last year, and it's just yeah, we survived that. Survived winter. Summer looks good.
Yeah, beautiful. And are
Yeah.
they embracing, because you've got a bit of a flat track theme going on there, haven't you? Are they embracing that, or
Yeah,
is it?
no, it's no, they it's quite good because obviously it's generating more interest for the people that don't know about it, which is cool, which is
Yeah,
what I wanted to do.
yeah,
And previously it was known as the Checkered Flag, so it was sort of a motorcycle stop type place before, but it had
yeah.
been closed like probably 5 years now. So
Oh,
yeah,
right.
we just put our own stamp on it. Yeah, but we made
Yeah,
it more family orientated rather than biker orientated. So yeah, it's quite cool.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
I noticed on Facebook the other day you had oh, it must have been, is it already 2 weekends ago, Volusia, the last round, you had that
Oh
playing.
yeah, yeah. I put bits and pieces on. There's also truck racing, just yeah, whatever in the background. Some old speedway meetings. Yeah, just more for my own benefit. I think if it's quiet.
That's cool though. We were racing in Mildura. It must be last year now, or either at the start of this year. I don't know. Time seems to have gone so quick. Um, yeah, we're racing in Mildura, which is like 5 hours drive from here, and in between, it was like the middle of nowhere, and there was a road stop there, and they had it was car speedway, sprint cars, and that
Yeah,
playing on their big screen there, and I sat down and watched that, and by the time we left, there was about 8 of us sitting there watching it,
it
and
does draw people in.
everyone was talking about just people traveling back and forth, but out of that eight people there, I think there was about 3 ex races. It was just amazing the stories that started coming out from
Yeah,
just being on there. So I imagine
yeah,
that, yeah, like you say, it draws new people in, but also people that have been around the sport and maybe dropped off, and gives them
yeah.
a bit of a talk point, and might make them reminisce, might even make them get back into it. So yeah,
Yeah, no, it's yeah. There's like exactly what you just said. There's been a few people that have come through and yeah, like my boys, I got some pictures up on the walls and some of the boys' trophies, and that's my two boys do the junior speedway. They're 8 and 12,
yeah,
and yeah, some weekends I put their bikes on the lawn if you got a car club coming in and that, just and my bike just to generate, like I said, something to talk about. But yeah, some guys come in and they've been looking at stuff, and then they start talking, and this old fella come in and he actually rode with like Ronnie Moore on the speedway and stuff,
yeah,
you know,
right.
and then there's other guys that rode Ascot when it's the flat track, and they remember the guys from the States coming over back in the 70s and 80s racing, the Harleys against Ivan Major, and it's pretty cool what comes
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it is cool. That is cool, and it's good that you're doing. And I think we need a few more places like that. And yeah, especially. So I suppose we should get into talking about flat track in the South Island.
yeah.
How long's it been running there now? Do you know?
To be fair, I started pushing it. It was, by all accounts, it was sort of pretty popular years back, but it sort of dwindled off. But 2018, I'd done I I was pushing for it here
Yeah,
in the South Island because where I started working in the bike shop, and I did a couple of years in the UK. I really enjoyed it, and then I moved over here 12 years ago, and I had to go on a bit of trail riding. And bought a speedway bike, sold my speedway bike to get my boys better speedway bikes, and then I still wanted to race, and I thought about the flat track. I really enjoyed in the UK with the vibe and just chilling out, and I thought I'd try and get it going, and just happened to talk to a couple of like-minded people, and yeah, we got a little practice track going down the road, and yeah, it just grew from there, and I managed to. I took a RMZ 450 in 2018. I set it up on 19s, my own bits and pieces to help my boss at the bike shop. Um, I took it to Moore Park Speedway and did demo laps in the interval on my own. And then I did demo laps at Moretti Park in Invercargill on my own in the interval. And that generated interest. And then I managed to get a couple of demo rides. And yeah, it was taking 4 years to get it to where we are now, which is still, we're a bit behind the North Island, but we're getting there. There's a good 20 odd bikes, a hardcore sort of nucleus down here. We get 12 sort of regularly. So yeah, no, it's good.
yeah, it
It's
will
growing.
grow. I mean, it's pretty easy to convert an MX bike into one. And you guys down there, you allow trials tires too, don't you? So you could do a
Yeah,
21 and then a trials tire on the back, 19 or 18.
yeah,
So
we do.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get in. Is that sort of how you started? Like you said, there was a track up the road. Is that where you live now?
Yeah, it's actually yeah. Um, it was a time. It's not a very big track, and it, probably only two people at a time could go around. But it was just somewhere to go where a group of us could hang out and do a bit of practice, do some skids, and then yeah, it's just speedway tracks are hard to get onto over here, and there's not a lot of practice tracks for a dirt oval.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard. Like Ellesmere Speedway track up just outside Christchurch is awesome. It's a bit bigger than Moore Park Speedway with a clay track, and yeah, they let us run practice days there, which are yeah really good. And Moore Park lets us run on their practice days, but apart from that, we struggle to get track time. But I say it's got better the last couple of years, and now we're like actually affiliated with Speedway New Zealand as a class, which you probably spoke about with Scott. It's made it easier. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you're actually having race meetings now, and have you got a little championship going now?
Yeah, we had the down on the South Island. We had last year. We've actually done racing at every meeting at Moore Park, so we managed to do a season sort of championship points. And we actually had a Canterbury Flat Track Championships last year, which I was lucky enough to win both of those. And in the North Island now they're running a tri series at three big tracks up in the North Island, like Gisborne, Waikaraka Park, and Western Springs, which will be awesome to get into, which I'm hoping to compete in as well this year and next year. But yeah, obviously a bit of travelling. But
Yeah,
you'll know all about travelling though to race meetings.
Yeah, Scotty said that I could have chucked. I've got a bike at my old man's in Christchurch. He said I could have chucked it in your trailer.
Oh yeah, I'm taking 5 bikes up when I go from my van.
You're taking 5, right?
Well, 3 flat track bikes and my 2 boys speedway bikes because I'm going to go up for the Clay Classic on November the 5th as a charity event for Mind Health Project. Yeah. And then a week later, as I'm up there, and it fell into something my wife's doing, we said, I'll make a week of it. I'm competing in the Auckland Flat Track Champs, so I'll see if I can get amongst the North Island boys.
Yeah, that'd be good. So you said you did flat track back. So you're from Bristol, is that right?
Yep, in the UK, yeah.
Yeah, so you did flat track back then. What year was that? And was it the DTRA or was that before the DTRA?
It was a short track UK. I grew up on grass track racing in Wales and the west of England, and then when I was about 20, till I was from probably 12 till about 20, then I joined the Navy, was Fleet Air Arm, and didn't do anything for quite a few years, and then I was at a bike show at Peterborough, and I saw the Short Track UK doing the flat track in the main arena at Peterborough Speedway, and I thought that's cool. And then obviously tagged along with Sideburn magazine, followed them, went and watched on any Sunday the movie, and then went on eBay and bought an XS650, threw some 19s in that, and running the Thunderbike class for the Short Track UK in 2009. So I rode that for 2 years in a Thunderbike class, 2009, 2010. And then I had a Rotax CCM Supermoto, which I converted into a flat track bike and did 1 season on that. And then the Navy all changed. I left and I emigrated to New Zealand. And that's when I come over here. So I only did 3 years. I've ridden more over here as flat track than I did in the UK, to be honest. Yeah. So I'd ridden a DTX bike properly once in the UK. And that was, it was pretty cool. It was very lucky to have a ride on Chris Carr's ex-American spec KTM that was shipped over to the UK. Okay. It was bandied around in the Short Track UK, and the owner of that let me have a ride at Hammond Valley Horse Trotting Track. So that was a big mile track. So that was epic. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then
what was the thing you noticed about his bike setup, like compared to say your own, or have you mirrored that and tried to set your bike up similar, or was it a horsepower thing, or was the suspension thing you noticed the most, or
it was the suspension. I think obviously I'd run an XS650 with just motocross bars and 19s on, so that was non-equation. My CCM was built in my garden shed, and again I didn't know what I was doing. I was just riding. But yeah, just this KTM that was just onto it, and like the bikes I set up now, I'm no guru or expert. I just go with what sort of feels, and from talking to other people, sort of ride height and what feels right. And I say I'm running an RMZ 450 now, which doesn't look like a DTX bike properly, because it's got the old school with the no fender and the square guards and all the rest of it. But it's a few people have ridden it and said it feels really good for what I've done, and it's just I've only set it up on air shocks on the front and just lower the air pressures to get the balance right. I haven't spent a great deal. It's just quite good to prove that you don't have to spend a fortune, and it is easy and quick to get into,
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. I as I mentioned to Scotty, I rode that YZ for like 8 years without doing anything to the shocks. Just moving it up and down the forks a bit and find what suited me. And you don't have to go out spending huge bucks straight off the bat. But you sort of hit the nail on the head too. It's about just being comfortable, and when you feel comfortable and relaxed is usually when you ride the best. And definitely you're not worrying about stuff too much. It's usually and sometimes you feel like you're going slow, but you're pulling the best times you ever have. I don't know how it works like that, but
it does definitely. It was. There was a meeting last year, and we had a practice the week before. And the practice the week before, all I did was messing around. I was just trying to do like Massimo Mori, get my bars as low as I could, And I was just trying to bar scrub, and I was getting pretty low, and I was chuffed. I managed to clip the ground once all day, but that's all I was doing on the practice day. I wasn't trying to do corners or starts or anything. I was just messing around. But the following week, I had a race meeting, and where I'd just been messing around, I was so more relaxed and confident with where I could put my bike. I just, like said, I didn't even think about it, and it just flew. And it was one of the best meetings I've had. And it was like, you're so different from you were before after just messing around and just chilling out and having a bit of fun. It was cool.
Yeah, and plus, unconsciously found those breaking points, or you went past where you probably thought you couldn't go before,
definitely. Like I did, I ate some dirt a couple of times, but I knew my limit. It's probably not the best way to do it, but it was all slow speed fun, and that was it. It was cool.
Well, it is. So I do a little bit of coaching over here, and one of the games we play is who falls off first is the winner. So it's only in a small circle, but it's all about getting as out of your comfort zone as possible, getting as low as possible, getting as sideways as possible.
Yeah.
And what I found that taught me when I was doing it, it was a lot more boring when I did it because it was on my own. But when you do it with two, it makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But you just find those limits. So, when you come in hot to a corner or something and you are a bit out of shape, you don't panic as much anymore, and you save it rather than binning it, so.
Definitely.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes things are out of your control and the bike has other plans. But for the most part, it really does make a difference. And then going from, so over here we use 2118 or 2119, as you know.
Yeah.
So going from that to the 19 setup with the American flat track tires, there's the whole argument about which is faster and slower, but that's not even relevant. I think the 19s, it's just amazing how far you can lean it over it before they actually let go. Like you're saying, scrubbing the ground with your bars, you basically got the bike flat on the ground.
Yeah.
And you can still pick it up. You can't do that on 2118s.
Especially if you've got a clay track with some rubber down, the lean angle's ridiculous. So many people have had to go on 19s who are adamant that the dirt setup was going to be better. They couldn't. That was the first thing they come back. I can't believe how much grip there is. I even did the Burt Monroe Beach race on a KX450 on flat track tires, and the grip was great up the sand. The only thing that let me down, my suspension was set too hard for the beach was just quite ripply, and I just couldn't hang on. I was getting head shakes and tank slappers. So I learned that, but it was good because I turned up on a flat track bike, and it generates so much interest. you riding that with those tyres, and then everybody couldn't believe. Yes, it was quick and it gripped and it went, but it just couldn't handle the bump. So yeah, I didn't do very well at all. Yeah, a bit disappointed, but I'll have another go. But yeah, I did it again the following year. I was quicker on my Ninja 650 than I was my KX 450 on the beach race, so that was quite cool.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can race on the beach, isn't it? Like I've done the Burt Munro a few times.
Yeah.
And I was on the old YZ, and the first year went pretty well. And I did is it 50 lapper or something? Okay.
Yeah.
The big one. And we were going around, and I sort of, in my peripheral vision, saw people waving down at the pit corner, and I mean, oh, she's all good. I kept going, and then they are waving at me, and so I pulled in. And my old man's going, it's been smoke coming off the bike for like 3 laps, you know. I know, shit. And we're burst because they've got the old oil line.
Yeah.
Aluminium or whatever it is. And it had split.
Oh,
so
no.
It was pretty lucky. But as I looked up, they're waving the checkered flag, and there was only 10 finishes. I was so spewing. I was that close to finishing. But it's pretty amazing if you've never ridden the beach like I hadn't, and like we get roosted pretty hard in dirt track and flat track, but the roost on the beach is something different. Like 20 meters, the people 20 meters in front of you still getting roosted from and bits of shackle and stick,
and it stings.
It stings.
Yeah,
it's fantastic, but so when you first, like you said, you come from a grass track background. When you were doing that practice track before you went to Moore Park or anything like that, was it on 19s or on 2118?
It was on. No, I'd set a bike up on 19s from the offset. So yeah, we were running all 19s. I even had it was originally a KLX 250, but the engine blew, so I put a Lifan 200 engine in it, and that was a great training bike. You know, like basically a Mad Dog class. And yeah, so many people rode that and just loved it, get on it straight away and just ride. And that actually, there's a couple of 200 bikes we've built. Like Johnny Brassel's a friend of mine, he's done the same. He's got a Chinese 200 in a Honda, alloy frame Honda. And yeah, we've had all sorts of people ride them and then they enjoy it. And then they come back and next thing, I'm putting a bike together. So that's another good thing we've pushed over here, is especially down the south, was just training bikes so people have a go on.
Yeah.
And so I've currently I was gifted a DLZ by another friend of mine, Robert Stowell, which he rides a Triumph Trackmaster in a flat track trim, which is awesome. But he gave me a DLZ 400 gifted.
I've lost you there a bit. Yeah, so we just had a little technical error there. You were talking about the DRZ you were gifted.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll set that up as a training bike, and I'll just hand it out to whoever wants to come and have a go. And I think, like I said, I think it was used about 7 times last year, and out of that 7, I think 4 to 5 people have actually built bikes or got bikes together for this season, so that's pretty cool.
And what are your thoughts on the DRZ as a training bike, like the power and those 200s? Like, I think the advantages of that are
the 200s are great. Like even at Moore Park, because it's like a 460 meter speedway track, you can just about stick with the 450s on the 200. If you know, so the average guy on the 450s, you can stick with them on the 200, and the speed isn't everything. It just teaches you the cornering technique. Whereas the DLZ, it's a bit heavier, but it's got a bit more power, and for the bit more confident guys, it helps. It's a bit of both really, but it's nice because it's electric start and people can just jump on it and have a go. You know. Sorry, cut that.
No, you're
right. But the best fun I think is just on the 200 because you can just wring the neck out of it and just chase people. It was good fun. We even had Bradley Wilson Dean, number 1 NZ for so many years. He come and had a go on the Johnny's 200, and he even made the podium, in the class. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So,
right. Yeah, I
yeah,
quite like riding the underpowered bikes. I've got a DRZ I use for the bush, and that's sort of why I was asking what your opinion is, because I find it really good for training on. Just
yeah.
um, modern day 450s, the power's pretty controllable anyway. But I don't know, I just find it a little bit not quite as taxing or something. I'm not sure what the right words are, but once you get back on your race bike, you quickly reminded it's a race bike. But
Yeah. To be fair, I had the DLZ all last season, and I think I rode it once for 6 or 7 laps on a practice day, and I never touched it. And well, I've obviously maintained it, but I've never ridden it since then. Since I rode it once, and it's just been ridden by everybody else.
yeah,
And so, yeah, to be honest, I couldn't really tell you remember what it was compared to my race bike. Obviously, a bit slower, but yeah. But no, it's great. Again, it's another opportunity for you to just get out and have a go.
yeah, that's great. So, you guys, do you, as riders, do you have sponsorship, and are you, how are you sort of advertising it down there? Just through the clubs, or?
Just probably what you see mainly on Facebook and social media. Like I said, I'm not that technologically savvy.
Yeah.
I'm not on Instagram and all the rest of it. People keep telling me I should be, but yeah, Johnny Brassel, he's the main PR guy. I think he's sort of plastered stuff everywhere, and the North Island boys, they're obviously tied up more with the bigger sponsors and things, especially with the Tri Series coming off with Western Springs and all that. That should really boost the sort of face of it as well.
Yeah, and from the sounds of it, they're getting in front of some good crowds. So, it's like I talk to a lot of guys over here, is that you never know exactly who you're talking to, what contacts they might have, or,
Yeah.
So always you keep it clean and positive, and you just don't know what that's going to turn into, So, it's from watching, obviously, on the internet, you guys look like that you're doing pretty well. It seems to be growing every year, and you getting more riders on the track, and getting more support from the other affiliations and disciplines. So
yeah, it's taken a while. Like I was just trying to get a class to ride. Like that's how to me it's how the short track UK scene started, which is now the DTRA.
Yeah.
At the start, it was 12 to 15 guys turning up at a local speedway track and doing races, enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And then look where the DTRA is now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, I'd love for that to happen here, but again, it's different with population and everything else, and where we are and stuff. You haven't got the numbers, but but I think I push for it because there's so many people over here, I think, have got a trail bike or a motocross bike, and to race flat track, it's not that hard just to swap a set of suspension over. You can convert a bike if you're just using a lowering link on the back, which some do, and then just push your forks up through the yokes. You're not worried about the ride height. You can swap a bike out, even if you've got front forks. You can swap a bike out in an hour. It's not, and then go trail riding on the weekend, and then race flat track on the following day. It's easy,
yeah,
and like I said, not too expensive if you don't want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it only gets expensive when you're chasing the win every time. Like if you've got the racer's mentality of wanting to be the best, then you'll make those changes to your performance. But I think there's a huge gap between starting and being the best.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room for a lot of different riders. Like you can. I'm not saying that you won't be competitive without spending that money. I think you can be competitive for a long time before you need to go spending that money. And the reason I think that is because of that old YZ that's sitting downstairs. I could still go out there and beat the majority of the field. And it still hasn't had anything done to it. It's had a motor in the field, but it's only because it's 04. It's been ridden a lot, and
Yeah.
But no, we didn't put any high comp stuff in it or anything like that.
No.
But that bike's sort of somewhere in between the DRZ and the modern day race bike, you know.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I don't like about it is you have to be really fit to ride it because it's aggressive, you know, like it's just
Yeah.
when you turn the throttle on that, it tries to rip your arms out of the socket.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, just not nice and smooth like the modern bike. I've got an A17, which isn't that modern anymore either, but it's fuel injected. And once I went on that, I'm going, what's wrong with this thing? You know, it's got no guts, but it's just so
different power. Yeah,
different power delivery. It's a bizarre thing. So you guys, do you have a junior class at the moment, or
not at the minute? It's it was, to be fair, motocross over here is huge. There's lots of kids on that, and I think if we did try to get it, it'd probably go quite well. But again, because of the Speedway New Zealand and affiliated stuff, it's hard to get those classes down. I'd imagine Scott and the boys in the North one would probably have more of a chance of getting that up and running. With the Speedway, even the Speedway down here with the juniors it's better than it has been, but it's still not huge, you know.
Yeah.
So I think we'd struggle to get enough juniors. I'd like to, my boy, he keeps saying, I want to go on a flat track bike, Dad. I want to go on a flat track bike, and he'd ride the Speedway bike all day long. And I think it would be good to get a bunch of there's some obviously very fast motocross boys out there, and I think it would be quite cool to get them all on 85s and have them singing around the Speedway track. But maybe if I'm again, it might be another. I'll do it, get one set it up myself, and then do demos and see how it goes from there.
Yeah, look, it'll be a huge class. I mean, the juniors are pretty big over here, you know, and you get a lot of cross riders, so motocross and speedway. They usually ride all three disciplines, if not at least two, and they love it, you know, and especially when you got someone like your son starting young, the more seat time, the better, isn't it? I mean, for any rider really, but for the kids. So I've been doing it on and off for must be getting close to 11 years now, maybe 12. And when I started, I'm now I've got one coming over today, Zane, who's riding my bike in Appin this weekend for the AFTN.
Cool.
I used to watch him when he was like 6, you know, riding around, and watched him for all these years growing up, and then he went away road racing a bit, and then sort of come back and he's an awesome rider, you know, and it's makes a lot more sense putting him on my bike because he's young and fearless.
I know that feeling.
It's going to make it look a lot better than I will. So, but it's great to have that platform for those kids, I think, and like you're saying, you know, starting with a small group of guys, and just it doesn't have to be an ultra serious thing. Fun is usually better anyway. It's usually creates a better environment for all the racing and the fans. But it's definitely everything seems to start out that way from what I've seen. I imagine American Flat Track probably didn't way back in the day, started out that too and grew into the beast it is. And same with the DTRA. And is that still run by the same group of guys, or has it changed?
Peter Boast obviously does his champion stuff now. I've been out of the loop a wee while, but Anthony Brown, who's the main head of the DTRA now. He was well into it in the Short Track UK days as well.
Yeah.
And he sort of took it over from Short Track UK and made it into DTRA. And obviously the Sideburn crew have been there from day dot. You know, they're big sport, and obviously with America, they're one of the American Flat Track sponsors too. So that's quite cool.
Yeah, and how you were saying about population and that, we get that comment a lot here, and personally, I understand it. I understand the argument. But I also see a bigger picture is we've got all these groups around the world doing the same thing. So when you tie us all together, we're actually huge.
Yeah.
And then, you know, everyone can benefit off each other's support and fellowship and riders. And then it becomes a huge family when you start linking it all together on a world basis, which seems out of reach to a lot of people. But look at what we're doing now. You know, I messaged you over a messenger app. Do you want to have a chat? You went, here we are on a Thursday morning having the talk. It's been pretty easy, pretty effortless, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, getting bikes into different countries and that sort of thing becomes a different challenge, but it's all attainable. And, you know, I wouldn't blink an eye and lending my bike to you. You come over, you've got a bike in the room, you know.
Yeah, I do that exactly. It works both ways. I do the same, and it has been, when I say, probably when I catch up with the North Island boys and that up there, we probably have a chat about discussing some cross Tasman sort of racing bits and pieces, you know.
Yeah, or
come to you come to us, or whatever. So
or make sure you reach out, because I know quite a few guys that would be keen. A lot of the time, you know, people just put up their own limitations and go, oh, it's impossible. But when you start getting a group of people with the common interests talking about it, you realise it's not that unbelievable, you know.
No, it's like when I was thought about it here, and I thought flat track racing, I was doing my demo rides on my own in the South Island. I then sort of invested a bit further and found out the North Island boys were trying to push it up there at the same time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they were doing it as well. And then once we got talking, like we are now, you know, then it was like, right, there's an event up there. So I travelled up for the first Clay Classic, you know, and rode that event. And, you know, I made the effort. It's something we wanted to do. And, what stopped me? Ferry and travel. That's easy. Get on the ferry. I'll put my bike in a van and drive up there. Well, I drove up there in a ute with 3 bikes in, and 2 other guys flew up, you know?
Yeah.
But you just, so it's, like you said, nothing's unattainable. It's something to do. I said at the minute, yes, we're progressing. It's great. We're just trying to get to that level, which I think we will hit this season, where people go, actually, that is good racing and I want to be part of it. Whereas up until last year, I had lots of guys going, I want to race. When's your next race meeting? And it was like, I don't know. We're waiting on invites for when somebody's got not enough classes, you know? So then I was going, there's a race meeting next week. And people go, I can't do it. I'm doing this and that. But now, this last year especially, it's grew just because we've had, there's 8 meetings. Here's the dates. So people can plan their year and they got something to go for. And now, again, with the big Tri Series, that's planned its dates. It's got a big real estate company sponsorship, which I can't remember, which is terrible.
That's right. I'm sure people can find it on New Zealand Flat Track Facebook page. Yeah.
Yes, they're definitely well done. Cheers, Darcy. But you know, it's gonna be awesome in front of some big crowds with Western Springs and everybody else.
So did I can't remember if I saw it. Did Moore Park, have you released the dates for 23 already?
They should be on the New Zealand Flat Track page.
Yeah,
maybe down the thing. I'll have to maybe repost more on my page, Team Drake, which I put stuff on as well.
Yeah.
But I'll probably repost those after this. I'll go and have a look. But they should all be on there.
Yeah, it's good to do those little updates, because as we know, the social media platforms are like a black hole and stuff.
Yes,
it's pretty. Sometimes it's really hard to find stuff again. So reposting stuff like that would be good for guys like me. Like I'm pretty keen to come over next year. I did sort of make a half-hearted promise to the missus that I won't be racing quite as much next year after this injury, but I can still pull a few off, I think. And coming home, it'll be a business trip for sure.
Yeah. So you've done the same as me, the collarbone.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see it's poking out quite a bit there.
Yeah.
We're about 5.5, 6 weeks in there, and I got a referral from, because the hospital I went to, which was closer to the track, was an hour and a half away, and I got a referral to go to the closer one to me, and it still hasn't all gone through. So I'm sort of haven't been signed off to go back to. I do a couple part-time jobs as well to keep money coming
Yeah.
in. Haven't been signed off to do that, so it's all a bit up in the air at the minute. And
Oh no, yeah, no. When
good thing is I'm exercising again. I started running. What's today? I started running on Monday. So.
Oh yeah.
So that's
something I need to do.
Yeah, I can. I love mountain biking. We've got a lot of forest and natural parks and stuff around here that you can mountain bike in. So I love mountain biking, but yeah, I'm not willing to quite risk the impact yet. But just in case.
Yeah, no.
But it's still a little bit tender. But anyway, you know, that's part of it. And
yeah,
I think all races accept the risk pretty much. I don't know if we all totally understand how dangerous what we're doing really is, but you sort of don't want to think about it too much either.
No, especially as you get older, because you don't match so well.
Yeah, well, that's exactly why I try to. Well, I don't try. I stay as fit as I possibly can, and do stretches and keep as strong as I can, because the recovery time is. I mean, I must have hit fairly hard. I was looking at my levers. I actually pulled them out of the bag for the first time. On Monday, I started cleaning the garage, and the whole so they've got Yamaha up the sleeve. The whole M was ripped off. So it must have
pretty good impact.
Yeah, it must have been fairly good. And it was weird because the medic keep asking me about my hips, and I was going, "That's my shoulder. That's the problem.
Yeah,
the hips are fine, you know." But 2 days later, I had it was just the biggest purple bruise from just above my hip right down the side of my leg. So she must have seen something I didn't know about. But you know, that was a weird one. I really don't know how it happened. I thought that I was overtaking someone. I thought I had him, and next minute it was black. But
oh dear. No good. Oh, it's easily done. Like when I broke mine in 2018, just when I was trying to push the flat track scene. I'd done a few demos. We managed to get our first ride at Moore Park Speedway. So I was set up. I said, Mike from the Gould Motorcycle Shop, he gave me. I already had a demo RMZ 450, which I'd converted for demo rides to showcase it. He then gave me a KX 250 and a Kawasaki 450, which we converted to 19s. And we went out to a paddock just to try them and see. But it was fresh grass, and I just went to the stops at about 20 kilometers an hour, spun round and just tipped myself over and smashed my collarbone. And so I've got titanium there, 8 screws, 8 months off work.
Right.
I missed the whole of the 2018 where we were trying to get into it.
Yeah.
But doing it, I had to let other people ride the bike and do all that. But it was just one of those stupid things, you know. It was just silly.
Yeah.
It wasn't even moving.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, those sort of, I suppose, slower crashes and that seem to be the worst ones too. So yeah, I don't know. They just sometimes, you know, you do all that training and like I was talking about, you know, the getting as low as you can and actually having to go at fully off. You do all that sort of stuff, and for the most part, I do save. You know, I would say 99%, but this one, like I can't explain it. Like normally if I low side or something, I can say, oh yeah, well I know how that happened, and this one, I just don't actually understand how it happened, but you get that, and as long as there are long gap between them, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, no, same as that.
I've only had 3 broken bones in the 12 years or 11 years or whatever it is. So
that's pretty good going.
It's not bad, really. Yeah, a few bumps and bruises and sprains in between, but mainly bumps and bruises, which, you know, with your demos and that sort of thing, because TT used to be really big in New Zealand, which is sort of, it's not like the flat track TT we understand. It's more like grass track, isn't it? And that on motocross bikes. That is still big here. I actually
my friend talked me into going to do one, which I hadn't done before, even though I've been here like 11 years. And yeah, that hit me how unfit I was, even though it was a ploughed paddock TT track set out with a couple of stock banks to go over.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I did 2 races and then I didn't do any more. And how unfit. I did a whole season's worth of riding in one day compared to the flat track, you know.
Yeah, because they rut up and everything like motocross, don't they? And they get pretty unruly. The track gets a lot rougher. I did a classic scramble on a Voltaco 360, and the first race was pretty good. The second race, just the track had totally changed and got, deep ruts in the corners and braking bumps, and then just heaps and heaps of sort of natural whoops created as the day went on, and I felt really good. I finished the day. I just got some great placings and got second in the feature, and
well done.
Was on the heels. I think he's one of the club champs the whole race, and I just couldn't quite make there was sections I was quicker than him, but I just still couldn't quite finish it off because he was just so consistent in his lines and everything. It was really hard to finish him off. But that day I got through and I was going, my fitness is fantastic. Next day I could hardly walk.
Yeah, I was like that. No, definitely.
But I was dreaming about that like for 3 or 4 days after, just going. It's sort of, I love flat track to death, but when you do it all the time and that, it's sort of, it doesn't kill it off. I think sometimes you just need a little bit of a change up.
Yeah.
Reignite the passion a bit. And there's an event here they had this year called the Oyen long track, and that was on a trotting track, and that sort of did the same thing because we don't really get to hold it on. Like I've ridden a couple 800-meter tracks, but this one, just the radius of the corners, they were a lot more stretched out, so you could really hold it on, and doing those things just reignites the spark, and
definitely
gets you going. Where I was going with the TT, I was wondering, because it is a lot more similar, I was wondering if you could sort of entice some of them across the flat track.
Yeah, there's a few of my friends who do that in the motocross. They've come and had a play. Some said, no, it's not for them. There's a couple that do bag it, but they come back and still have another go, which is quite good. They know who they are. I'd like to do a TT again. Maybe even in the summer when it's hard baked and stuff on my flat track bike, just to stick it out there, and just see what interest I get. Again, it's just pushing for it and getting that audience. But and
you'll blow them mind. Like you were saying about the beach racing with those tires. Looking at them, they don't look like that. They would perform on a beach surface, sand surface like that, or they actually, they hook up really, really well. Like when I first went out on my track, I was on the back wheel all the time. They were that grippy because I had to put a little bit more pressure back in them. But that surprised me because with trials tire, standard trials tire treat is about 12 mil, and the flat track are 8 mil. So it's a fair bit different. So it's quite sort of. Unless you're an engineer, you probably understand how they grip up like that. But I sort of don't understand, having that much less tread, how they can feel so grippy.
I know it's even on like more parts until it gets packed down, it's quite a loose surface.
Yeah.
And until it sort of goes hard, and then some spots it gets baked on, and then you can get the black line from the sidecars and things. But out wide it's usually quite loose, but even there, the way they grip is it's quite unbelievable.
Is that sand granite, the Moorpark?
Like lime crusher dust sort of on top. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been. I don't think it was there. I left in '97. Was it going then?
I would have thought so, because it was from Ronnie Moore's training track, basically. It was out at West Melton. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, definitely. But I whether it's the right place. But yeah, your Kelpie block tires, are they rounded like the American ones still, or not quite as much?
Not quite as much. Yeah,
Yeah.
So the profile on your rims like this, the American flat track tires come out off the rim, sort of like that, and they're sticking out quite a bit. Our tires a little bit more straight up and down.
More like the Speedway trial.
Yeah, a lot more like that. But there's somewhere when you run them on the front and the back, they handle somewhere in between.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just curious because yeah.
I'll send you a couple.
That was another thing. I might have to buy some to try it just to see.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'd love to have a look. Because it's quite a funny thing. A lot of people, I don't know if it's they're scared of change or what, or scared of things they don't understand, and instead of actually being curious and giving it a go and experimenting, they just don't touch it.
We had a lot of that with the just running the 19s here. You know, why are you doing that? Why can't but it, like I said, it goes out and it works, and like I said, your tires, they work too. You know, you've proven that already as well.
Yeah. They do work, and they work well. And I think on a wet day, for like if you're running 19s, they would definitely, even if you put one on the front and left the American one on the back. Because obviously there's a lot of variables here, so track surface is the big one. But the American tires fill up very quickly and become race slips, basically.
If you're on a clay-based track and it gets wet and it goes slick, then yes, it's very hard. But you've got to be moving to keep it, because we did one meeting and it.
Oh, you're frozen again. Don't know if you can hear me. Yeah, right. Yeah, so we're just talking, had another little drop out there, but it's actually really good being able to do it over the internet. It's probably a little bit clearer than when I mic up my mobile.
I imagine.
But so we were talking about in the wet, and you were talking about on the clay track.
Oh yeah, just some of the guys were terrified when they went out on the clay for the sighting lap because they could hardly stand up. But once you got to sort of race speed and got momentum, it's surprising again how much grip they actually had.
Yeah, well, like you're saying, just keeping them clear. So you keeping them rotating and spitting it out is the key. But like on my track, there's no way. In the condition it is now, there's no way I'd even try it on those.
Really?
Even on mine, I'd be going, it's a bit, how's your mother? It's sort of got sand in it, and it's quite coarse, but it's also I don't know, it's just like it's like oil or something on top of hard clay when it gets really wet. It just
really?
It turns really, really slippery. It's got clay deeper down, so I don't know if that's why it is, or I'm not sure. But it gets really nasty and it's really unpredictable. It's horrible. But I would, if I was forced to race out like on conditions like that, I'd definitely have the Kelpie block on the front, because they do clear pretty well, and they don't pack up like those American tires. But I'm sure a guy up in New South Wales was talking about this, and they were saying, we need to, to run 19s, we'd need to spend 15 grand or something and putting clay and all this into it. And
no, you don't.
I don't think you do. I think you've just got you haven't done enough investigating and experimenting. You got to get out and ride every condition and go, okay, this is the point we would say it's not safe to race. And that's sort of what I think a lot of
Yeah.
don't sort of get is there's, and it's the same with a 2118. If it's not safe, it's not safe. They're not.
Yeah, because
it's not the magic recipe. There's points for them where you wouldn't go out either. And,
we proven that at Ellesmere Speedway, which is a clay-based track, and it's real hard and fast. It's quite a bigger track, and yes, at the start of the day, it was quite tacky, and it was hard work on the 19s because it was a bit too sort of like, yeah, it was like wet but tacky, whereas the 21-inch knobbly front it had the 19-inch flat track tire on the rear worked really well.
Yeah.
But I said there's a young fella riding the bike and he was going around the outside of a lot of people, and I said to him, I said it's going to dry out, get some rubber down and go hard packed, and then watch yourself. And he was like, no, I'll be fine. But then as soon as that happened, he just washed the front out because the knobbles couldn't hack it. So yeah, it's horses for courses. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it just takes time of learning, especially if you're in the organisation side of things and running a track. It takes a bit of time, and you've got to try everything. I've thrown a lot at my track, and just the main reason I wouldn't go out on it now is we were going to have a practice session last weekend, but I don't know if you've got on the news there. We've had a lot of water in Victoria, and I ripped it. I've got a ripper on the tractor. I ripped it really deep just to give Zane the opposite to what he had to go on last time, and just in case, I know Appin will be pretty hard rolled, but just in case it gets really messy and that, then he has a good idea of different surfaces and how the 19s, because he's only ridden them once, so it'll give him a bit more idea of how things handle if he came across those conditions. Because when I was up at turn 1 and 2, did actually get quite a bit deeper than I thought it was going to. But but we had so much water, and with me ripping it deep, it's about, I don't know, 200 mils of slop.
Oh, really? Jesus.
like a motocross track, if not worse.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't know if you keep seeing me staring over here, but there's a huge huntsman there. And I know he won't do anything, but he's bloody huge. I've seen for a while. I
keep glancing at my dog that's chewing something over there, and then I could just see the entrance to the pub. There's a couple of cars coming, and there was a big race van came in, Harris Racing. I was just trying to see who it was, but it's gone out again now.
So you live right next to the hotel, do you?
We live in it. We live upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Upstairs. Yeah,
right.
So, yeah.
So it's sort of all in one purchase.
Yeah, we've got just under 3 acres all up, so it's not really anywhere big enough to put a decent sized practice track in, unfortunately.
Oh, but, 3 acres, yeah. What about around the?
Yeah, sort of blocked. There's the front section to the restaurant and bar, and then the back is our private bit. But there's buildings, and I could do maybe a squirrel in a little TT track, but it's not quite. It doesn't work quite big enough. I was gutted.
Yeah, my track's pretty small too. It's only about 300 meters, but I've got like I think I worked it out about 14 different configurations, and some of them are really short and tight. But it's just good practice. Like there's nothing wrong with the slow short stuff.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it's sort of Oh, the rain's coming down hard now. It just really enhances your skills, I think, especially for saving crashes.
Yeah. Now seat time, you can't beat it. Like my boys, they ride speedway, and they got speedway bikes, a 125 and a 200 speedway bike, but they only ride it at Moore Park or Aretti Park because there's no other places they can practice speedway. But haven't got a track that they can suited for to ride, like not locally. So like all the off season, they never rode the speedway bikes. Their first practice was 2 weeks ago, and then their first meeting was last week. So they both gone up a class, so new bikes, new techniques. So yeah.
And so did you say, do they race motocross too, or?
No, unfortunately, they've got a couple of little pit bikes they mess around on, and they're on them as much as they can out of the little bit of back paddock we have got. And like I said, it helps. Like they both, but Oscar, the 12-year-old, he jumped on the 200, and it's like he'd ridden it all season. You know, he's still got to learn. He had a couple of muck-ups. He come up, run off the track, and sort of got, didn't place things. He'd run wide on the track. But that's learning the bike and the power. And my youngest, he's just gone up to the 125 off of DRZ 70, so it's a completely different style of bike to him because it's a proper 125 speedway bike. And he's only 8, so yeah, he's got to grow into it as well a little bit. So yeah, but no, they get it. They're getting it.
And they've got quite a good junior crowd at Moore Park, haven't they?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It did sort of decline quite badly, but now I think between them and Aretti Park, they've probably got a 13 in the 125 class, which for what it is and for just those 2 tracks for Speedway New Zealand, that's pretty good actually.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of the 200 boys from last year have gone up to the 500s, which has helped the solos as well because they were on a big decline, and that's why I think last year the Speedway New Zealand helped us with the flat trackers because we were turning up. I could get 12 to 14 flat track bikes to a meeting, and there was 5 solos. You know, it was quite heartbreaking, you know, for the speedway side of things. And to start with, we were getting, "Oh, are you going to kill the sport?" Like, no, we're not. If we don't come to your club's going to finish. You know, you got 5 solo guys, and I've got 14 with friends and family.
Yeah,
and we're all going to join the club and pay our fees. You know, and now I'll say last year as well. Once we got it and got regular, people are like, "Oh my god, that's some of the best racing they've seen across all the classes, the cycles and everything."
Yeah,
you know, we do like 3-4 heats of racing, and then we'll do a handicap sort of feature race, same as what they do in the North Island, and that is some really good racing. You know, there's overtaking, there's battles, and yeah, it's quite a popular class now, which is good from the spectator side of view as well.
So, have you got all 14 in the one heat, and it like a staggered start?
No, we did 3 rows of. What did we have last time? We had 12, 3 rows of 4.
Yeah,
you know. And for the Canterbury Championships last year, we run 2 sets of heats, and then we made semis, and then a final. We did it that way because we did have more than 14. They're only allowed. Speedway New Zealand allows 15 on a track at one time, on a bigger track, and then 12 on a smaller track. So
yeah. So that would be a great spectacle because it's not always about the battle out the front, because usually the battle's sort of like for 5th, in between 5th and 3rd, or
that's what everybody loves because they said there's 3 or 4 battles within the one race. You know, like you said, there's the guys at the front, there's the mid pack, and there's the 2 at last who are, you know, fighting for last, but they're just enjoying it. You know, and everybody comes in with a big smile. You know, like we're not, because we haven't got big titles and big championships yet, you know, like what you've done over there with the AFT nationals and stuff, that hopefully that breaks into something, you know, that's going to be awesome. Yeah. And maybe something we can compete next year.
Yeah.
Once you get to that level, then yes, people are getting a bit more serious. And, you know, everybody does like to win and go home with a sash or a medal, but at the end of the day, you just want to get home. So everybody's just having a good, you know, it's just such a good vibe. And we all get on and know how each other rides.
Even at the Aussie track titles this year, I unfortunately had to stand on the sideline and watch. But the vets class, or 40 plus it is, it's one of the best ones to watch because all those guys, they don't really care about winning. They care about the battle and the challenge of challenging each other. And, you know, there's a few, I suppose, physical disadvantages. They're not quite as young and fit, but I think that sort of makes it more intense, you know, like because the riding levels are a bit more similar. Don't get me wrong, there's still some bloody quick guys in there, you know.
No, I've seen the vets over here on the motocross.
But it's a really good spectacle. Unfortunately, one of the worst crashes was in that class too, but it's magnificent racing to watch, and everyone, because I talk to a lot of those guys because we're a similar age group, and they're just, helmet comes off and there's a smile from ear to ear, you know.
That's what we get. And
then someone walks up and cuts in between, and it's the guy that he was battling with, and he's going, "Oh, that was so good," you know.
No, exactly. No, we love it.
And as a racer, I mean, that's probably, apart from the personal development that I've seen in myself from racing, and challenging myself and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That is another big part that eggs me on to keep racing, is that camaraderie and the respect
Oh, definitely, yeah.
get for each other, and especially when especially when you see an older guy that he starts out and then he starts growing, and at first he couldn't hold a line and that sort of thing, and then all of a sudden he's holding his line and he's battling you. I love seeing that sort of stuff. It's really awesome.
No, definitely.
So it's really good to chat to you, and I think I've probably taken up enough of your morning. And you did say to me you weren't a talker, but I don't know, we've done pretty good.
Sorry about that. I do get carried away sometimes.
No. Anyone will tell you that I can talk underwater. So, I mean, yeah, we probably could have gone for 8 hours.
No, probably best not. I hope you covered what you wanted to cover, or got some insight into bits and pieces. Anyway,
the pod's just about exposing how big Flat Track is and the community, and it doesn't matter about the level or whether it's at a group of people starting out, or if it's a non-for-profit or a business or whatever that's taking it to a different level. It's just about exposing how big our community is, even though it might be in little pockets all over the world and all over the place. It's actually bloody huge. Like, you start, and more so, it's always been there, but more so in the last 5 to 6 years, more people are showing other groups that they're there, So before it was just that it's sort of closed and just doing it for fun, and but now I think people are realizing, if we sort of do mention it and let other people in and see, it actually does grow to something else. Where I mean, it's sort of, there might be a limit you guys down there don't want to go past, because then the workload becomes something different than what your expectations were. But it doesn't matter, as long as we know you're there and check in, have a look. And
no, definitely,
I think it's awesome. I love seeing the footage and that sort of thing. There was a comment one time, it was, when was it? I think I posted one of the rounds of the FIM, and it was in a track that I like in Spain. It's I don't know if you've seen it. It's got sort of like a chicane in it, and then a real hard 180 sort of here.
Yes, I think I do recall that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy said, if these guys are the fastest in the world, I'll enter. They don't look fast at all. But I sort of love those comments, because it's like, mate, you just actually ride? Like, from a rider, you can see the technical side of that track. Like, it's
definitely, yeah.
It's not a simple track, and I bet if you got out there, you'd be getting smoked and just.
It surprises a lot of people. You're only going around in circles. Yeah, and they come out and they go, "That's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be." And there's been some very fast motocross guys who've had to go, some very fast road racers have had to go. And they've all enjoyed it, but they've all gone, "That's a lot harder than I thought." They weren't as quick as they thought they were going to be. No, it's quite good. I've opened, there's me and a few of the guys, even on the 200s, we've opened the eyes. Some of the guys have gone, "Here you are, here's my 450, take that, I'll go on the 200 and we're going to have a play." And they're like, and as you go past them on the 200, and it's not quite as easy as I thought it was. That's quite good. Yeah, and especially people sat on their keyboards. Yeah, it's different till you get out and have a go.
Yeah,
but it's guaranteed that if you do get out there, you'll be smiling.
Yeah, and that's exactly like you say. I hope you got out of this chat what I wanted, and that's exactly what I want people to hear. There's people all over the world that are giving it a go, and if you're gonna mouth off and say, "Oh, these guys are slow," well, get out there and show us otherwise.
Definitely.
There's a reason we do this discipline, and it is challenging. It's like you say, going around in circles isn't easy. And go around left for 3 or 4 years, and then try and do it right if you haven't been practicing that in between.
Yeah, no, that I did come unstuck on the TT with that.
I'd just been focusing on going for left for like, I don't know, a solid 10, 11 months or something. And then I went to the Burt Munro, and the street race was going right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it took me a practice session and probably the first race to get my head around it again. Yeah, it just felt so wrong,
Yeah.
So yeah, if the listeners take anything away from this one, practice both directions.
Yeah. Nah.
But yeah, thanks heaps, Drakey, and good luck. When are you going up north in a week or so, aren't you?
Next Thursday I'm leaving. Yeah. Loading up the big old bus.
And you're leading I noticed you're leading the points in Moore Park in the competition there.
Oh, yeah, to be fair, we only had the first meet and then it got cut short due to ambulance stuff. But yeah, I'll take that. I'll miss a couple of meetings, so I'll need to bank some points.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so that would be great. And I love to get over there and get out on the track and hopefully have a battle with you if you're not too far in front of me.
No worries. There'll be a bike here for you. No worries.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, well, lovely talking to you, and keep in touch and send me your address, and I'll send you a couple of tyres to try it.
Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah. No, cheers, Darcy. I'll sort you out for that as well.
Yeah, awesome. Good. No dramas at all.
Cheers, mate. Take it easy. Look after yourself.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Enjoy Nationals this weekend too.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. That's the other reason I was running a little bit late this morning is my 20th wedding anniversary today. So I'd love to say it was all naughty and hanky-panky, but we went for our morning walk. It's 20 years, guys. Come on,
Oh, no, congratulations. Appreciate you taking time out of that to talk to me as well.
No, it's all good. She's off to work now, so I've got the rest of the day to do housework, apparently.
Oh, nice. No, I'm sure your Kelpie sponsored rider will do good for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. He's coming over today, and we're just finishing a couple of things. And unfortunately, I forgot to give him the spare air filters in his back number. So we'll get that sorted. I'm sure he's really excited about the TT. There was a bit of footage from the practice day last weekend, and he's really excited. And that's all I asked for is that he's keen to give it a crack. And
that'd be good.
He's going to have some pretty full-on competition, I reckon. From what I hear, the guys that have all entered, they're all at the top of their game in one or another discipline and have been on 19s before. So,
okay.
It'll be challenging.
It'd be good. Good luck with that anyway.
Yeah, hopefully we can all see a bit of footage from it.
Get it up there. I'll share that.
Good. All right, dude. Take it easy and we'll see you soon.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Catch you later.
All right. Well, that was fantastic that you're talking to Wayne Drake. I love that they've got those practice 200s and putting people on them, letting them try the sport out and sharing their bikes around and that's all what it's about. Showing people why we love doing what we're doing and. Hats off to the guys down in the south and up in the north. They're doing a great job at promoting flat track and getting people interested in it. Drakey sent me a message. I couldn't download it. I don't know why. But anyway, he wanted to thank Johnny Brazel from Johnny Speed Shop and Tony Cutler from 351 Carbon, who he says are instrumental in helping them with getting flat track racing up and going in the south there. So good work. I've actually spoken to Johnny before. Yeah, good work, mate. And Tony, I'm pretty sure Tony's making some carbon fibre stuff for flat trackers and other race bikes and that. So maybe check them out, Johnny Speed Shop and 351 Carbon. Hopefully they've got websites. I'm pretty sure they've got Facebook pages, so check them out and hit them up if you want some stuff made for your bikes. And Yeah, where are we going next? Hopefully, catch up with Zane, have a chat with him. We did try and do a podcast, and turns out my computer storage was full after 45 minutes of having a good chat together, and unfortunately, no footage. So, yeah, boo boo there on my behalf, but you know, that's what happens. You learn this stuff, so been trying to learn how to get rid of all the crap on my computer, and not get rid of anything important. So that's been fun. So that has caused a little bit of delay of getting this one edited and that sort of stuff. I do all the editing myself, so you know, don't be too harsh on me on social media. Actually, in saying that, I'd love to hear more from you guys. So make sure you reach out, whether you want to have a chat or you just want to discuss something, or you want to hear about something, or just let us know. The more we talk about it, more feedback I get, the more interesting these pods can be, and the more everyone will get from it. That's what it's all about, sharing our experiences and our thought and our loves about flat track racing, and setup and tyres and whatever you think might be relevant, flat tracking, and help each other keep the sport growing, and I think it will be awesome. Really looking forward to 2023. I'm hopefully going to be announcing a team yet, just trying to get some things finalised off there. I know there's a few other teams happening. APO, Trent O'Donnell's got quite a few riders happening for him. Hopefully we'll have a pod with Trent. He's an awesome dude. Loves flat track, loves motorcycling in general, like most of us do. You know, we all love motorbikes. That's sort of where it starts, and just ended up in the flat track discipline more so. You know, it's it is an awesome sport. Why wouldn't you? So anyway, guys, until next time, stay sideways, go flat tracker.